Hello, my name is Sebastian Serrano, as it says. I'm the founder and CEO of BitPagos. And during the last 2 years, we have been helping merchants to process payments and consumers to save in Bitcoin in countries like Argentina, Brazil, or Venezuela that have very high inflation and quick currencies. During this time, we learned that most of the population in these countries is unbanked and also doesn't have access to credit. This makes it very difficult to pay online, but impossible to do it in the most common way to do a payment online, which is on credit. So that means no online shopping, no buying, no purchasing Netflix, or buying that video game that you see promoted everywhere, but you just can't pay it online. This is one of the reasons why the share of online commerce in the US is more than 10%, but across emerging markets is average on 2%. So today I would like to present you Rip Your Credit, which is our solution to this problem. With Rip Your Credit, our users can pay online on installments in local currency in any of our merchants or the hundreds of thousands of merchants that accept Bitcoin payments worldwide. So let me explain you how this works. So after you download the app from the Play Store, you sign up with Facebook and then give us some personal information and 2 photos to verify your identity. 1 photo of your ID and another photo as a selfie holding that ID to verify that identity. This is processed by our backend using machine learning techniques together with the information that the user provided, the social data, also pulling some external sources to verify that the person exists, that they haven't defaulted to other companies, and it's also processed by our fraud prevention system. With all this information, we build a score that helps us give credit to the user. And this is not a very easy task to do, but our team has been working on these problems for several years before BitPagos, in many countries like Dinero Mail or Mercado Libre. And this allows us to approve this credit to our user and being able to start paying online. So let's switch to the demo so I can show you how doing a payment looks like. So Juan wants to buy Grand Theft Auto. And he's trying to buy it on Steam, which is one of the largest marketplaces for games online. So he just signed up, he's logged in. He chooses as payment option as Bitcoin. If you look, like there are all other options are credit-based. And then he agrees to the terms, continues to the processor to do the payment. This will show, it's a little bit slow, but this will show like a QR code and a link to opening wallet. When he clicks, then our wallet pops up and automatically makes the currency conversion to see how many pesos you had to pay to buy that game. He clicks next, and then we offer him different payment options. 1 installment for 700 pesos, 3 installments for 273. He clicks next, and then he sees the entire details on how the payment is going to be, how much interest he's going to pay, and the total amount. He confirms by putting his password, and then clicks send to make the payment. This is taking a little bit long. Seems that the network is so slow today. And done. We just paid to the merchant, and if we go back, the payment is confirmed. So let's back to the slides. So what we just did is pay on credit on affordable installments in local currency and we just got able to buy that game. And so you may ask, like, well, if we're going after underbanked that don't have bank accounts, how we are going to charge them? How are they going to end up paying us? So the user is going to have a monthly statement, like a credit card will have, and they can see it on their phone, and here they will see everything that they have to pay. And if they have a bank account, they can pay this with their bank account, but if they haven't, they can use any of the 16,000 merchant locations that we have partnered with, where they can go and pay in cash. In Argentina with Pago Fácil, in Brazil with Boleto Bancario in Mexico in many stores like Oxxo or 7-Eleven. And this makes it very convenient for a user to start buying online. There is more than 200 million unbanked across Latin America, and this is a very huge global problem with more than 2.5 billion people suffering from this. So this is already working on 600 merchants on our network, and it also works with the hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin merchants that sell Bitcoin worldwide, like Expedia, Microsoft, Dell, or Steam that we just saw. With this, I would like invite you to download our app from the Play Store, and apply for Ripio Credit if you are one of the countries that we support, and everyone in the world to sign up and join our waiting list so we can bring Ripio to your country. Thank you.
Okay, questions from the judges.
So I think I saw on there that the APR is 45%.
Yes,
right?
That will be for Argentina. It's there is high inflation, so you had to also take that into account. That's a very competitive rate for a country with high inflation.
So you're automatically converting from local currency to Bitcoin and then back for the merchant?
Yes, so basically what happened is that we buy in pesos the amount of Bitcoins. We make a payment request to the merchant. We use a protocol called Bit70 that brings back how much Bitcoin that needs to be paid so that the merchant gets that amount of dollars. So this all happens in that instant. The merchant gets that amount of dollars that they want, and we buy it on pesos on the other end. That happens all automatically. Something that very nice about this system is that there is no currency conversion. Like if you were paying with your credit card, you will, as a user, will have to pay 2 or 3% more on that transaction, just on the conversion rates. And it's all instantaneous. Like you can see, like there is nothing that to enter. There are no credit card numbers that could be stolen. And you saw like the only thing that the user entered and typed was his password to confirm the payment.
Who's taking the balance sheet risk? Are you guys taking the credit default risk in this?
Right now, yes. That's the initial approach. Our focus right now is to gather data. This is a data business to do this. The more data that we have, the better. And now our focus is into building our system to learn what proprietary neural networks, be able to start predicting the default rates. And after that, we're already in talks to raise capital dev to support the loans.
And do you need a Bitcoin wallet to use your service? Or can they simply just pay you, have a cash wallet with you?
Yes, they can have a cash wallet with us. This is, with our merchants, is all database entries. Globally, through the Bitcoin network, to any Bitcoin merchant in the world. We have our own internal liquidity, and we could integrate with other networks in the future.
Thank you.
So when it comes to, you mentioned two interactions that your system has with external forces besides the customer. So you have the locations where somebody can sort of fuel up their wallet, right? And you mentioned like 7-Elevens and other places like that, right?
Yes.
And then the other one was the merchants themselves that people are buying at.
Yeah.
So am I correct in saying that the places that you've partnered with to fuel it up, you have to manually create those partnerships? That's part of your thing that you're doing? Or something that they can sign up for and be done online?
So the user can just sign up and do it online. The merchant can also sign up and do it online. With merchants, we do partnerships. The first week, we have almost 3 weeks working on this, launch live. The first week, we launched a partnership with an Ecommerce that made 10% discount to our users for the exposure to a user base. We have more than 30,000 installs of the app, and they do it because of the distribution. We give more value to our consumers. Then we made another one with a food delivery company that gives 5 pesos discount for each meal after 5 meals. We are now working on another one that is on the ticket event space, and we're making a pipeline of use cases to educate the user with one byte.
Right.
So
But like, say a merchant like Steam, right? You mentioned you did the demo.
Yes,
there. So did you go to Valve?
no,
and
there
say,
is nothing to do.
Right.
Like,
So it generates a credit card
Yeah.
number for the merchant to use, right?
no,
Something like that?
Steam process Bitcoin payments, so we don't have to
got
do
it.
any integration.
Is there Bitcoin?
Yeah, we use that example to something that the audience could relate to.
Sure.
And it's also a very interesting use case.
But otherwise, you have to create an integration with the merchant.
Yes.
Got it.
If they want to have been published into our app and have the distribution, they have to do an integration with us. I will charge that for that.
So, Sebastian,
Yes.
you started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You've been through some pivots and some changes. Talk
This-
to me about where you've been and how you came across this particular problem.
So we are not pivoting.
Sorry?
We are not pivoting. We're building a platform.
Okay.
So we started with merchant services. We will continue to do merchant services. We have our wallet, which is a way to build our network. And this is the first service on top of this platform.
Okay.
So kind of like what I see in the future is that blockchain technologies and many other things that are happening in fintech are driving the processing fees and the cost for moving money to zero. And the revenue that the company is going to be making in the future is into services that are on top of our platform. So this is the first glimpse of that.
So do you see this the first of, is this the first of many consumer-facing apps or tools for the merchants, or is this the one? And how did you determine that?
This will be the focus for a few years, I guess. But then you think of any financial service and how that could be integrated into this new platform.
Where is your fee? Where do you make money?
So right now we make money on merchants. We charge a small processing fee. On consumers, when they're trading, if they want to buy and sell bitcoins, we charge a fee there. And in the credit product, on the interest rates.
What's your default rate?
So this is very new. So we're just giving the first ones. So there is very little data on that. We think that we can do better than the current systems. So right now, a user will go into a payday loan, kind of like a payday loan in the US. Like there is, if you relate to that, the user will go into a shop where they can make a loan and get cash, and then they will use that. So in that industry, the repay usually is 88%, almost 90. I think we will have a lot more data, which should have a default rate lower than that. But the trick is just to predict that number, and then it will be built in on the interest rate.
If I'm a good customer and I show you over,
You will
10
have
or
a
12
better.
Okay.
You have a better score and a better rate.
Do you enable cross-border sales?
Yes, this was an entirely cross-border sale.
And what do you do about taxes and?
So for the merchant will have to pay their taxes here in the US, and for us there will be a trader that also has some fees on us, like the interest rate will have some taxes that we'll have to pay.
But the buyer usually has to pay for importing X or Y into their country.
Well, this is a video game. So, but if they will buy from Amazon, we are seeing some payments on Amazon through a second company. Then when the products arrive, they will have to pay the import taxes.
Any other questions?
And you say there are, do I have correct, 100,000 people using this now? How many did you say in the beginning, the first slide?
30,000.
That's the number of merchants that a user could pay using this product. We have more than 30,000 installs of our wallet.
30,000 installed for the wallet. But the 100,000, those are just merchants that accept Bitcoin.
Yes, yeah.
It's not specifically accepting
Our
BitPagos.
merchants is 600.
So 600. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, anything else? Great. All right, give it up for BitPagos.
Thank you.